Blessings, everyone. Hello, this is Apostle Jonelle Maxwell, New Day Apostolic Global Network. I wanted to come on real quick and just give a little detail on a post that I made a little bit earlier about making sure that you take those along with you that are prepared or have not been prepared like you in the areas that the Lord is leading us into in this hour. Is very strategic. It is very it's very important. It is uh, very vital that we follow the instructions of the Holy Spirit and how He is leading us in this hour. This is a very important season that we are in, so we cannot take it lightly. I do not take it lightly. Um, but God is really pushing us into a place, a posture, a position in which we will have to, as leaders, as apostolic leaders, we will have to train, we will have to develop many in this hour that God is really going to truly send in our directions and in our path, and we have to really be ready. And so I just wanted to come on in a few minutes, and even for those that are jumping on and will jump on after, you could just share, and that will be great. That will be great for others to be aware. And I'm sure God is speaking to many in this hour, not just myself, but God is speaking to many leaders that will train and develop others to be launched out, to be sent to different places, to be pioneered. There's many of us in this hour that's truly been pioneering in a different capacity, in which the Lord has been leading. Some of us has been quietly working. Blessings to you, blessings, sis. Thank you for coming on. The Lord has really been using some of us leaders very quietly in this hour. We've just been silent. Just because we're silent, that doesn't mean that we're not doing anything. It just the Lord has really kept us in a place of posture where he just been downloading strategies to us before we launch our next and walking into what he is calling us to walk in. And so like I said, just coming on for a few minutes, just wanting to share of what the Lord is doing and what the Lord has really been placing in my spirit over maybe over 2 years, more so the 2 years. But I've seen the Lord over the course of many years have placed me in different situations that has really prepared me for now. And a couple of years ago, one of the bishops that I affiliated with, one thing that he always said, and I really appreciate him for saying it, he always would say, when preparation meets opportunity. And so I'm really a stickler in preparation. I'm very strong in preparation. I believe in preparation. I don't believe in doing anything without being prepared for it first. The Lord has taken me through years of multiple preparation. I've always been in that place with the Lord where He has given me those areas of learning, and I really appreciate those moments of learning. Of how the Lord has led me over the years. And so those times of learning is very important. Sometimes us as leaders, we don't want to go through that process of learning before we launch into something else new. We're quick to want to jump into something new without saying, Lord, teach me what I need to know in order for me to walk in the next, to be effective in the next thing that you've calling me to do. Because there's so many things, there's so many things God launches us into. Over the years, God never leads us to stay in the same place. And so we have to be a people that says, Lord, whatever that you want to lead me into my next, take me down a path of training. And the Lord is always so faithful in making sure that we get the training that we need, because He does not want us not to be effective. He does not want us not to be prepared. And so there's times that we really go through a rigorous, I mean, sometimes it can be like, God, why am I going through this? Why do I have to go down this road? And a lot of times what end up happening is that people really don't understand. They don't understand why we are going down a certain road. And a lot of times we get ridiculed for it. We get mocked for it. We get laughed at. And then later when people like, oh my God, I did not know that was the reason why, and they come back, and a lot of times they come back and say, forgive me because I didn't know the reason why you had to go down that road. But it's always for a purpose. Anytime the Lord is leading us into something new, we have to expect, that there's going to be times when we're going to have to step out in obedience that's not understood. It's not, our obedience is never going to be understood by many. Even those that are close to us. There are people that's close to us that I had times where, people that was very close and very dear to me, they didn't understand my path. They didn't understand why I was going in a certain direction. And so there was things that I had to literally stay quiet about until God was finished with that part. And then later on, that's when they came back and they was like, oh my God, I didn't know that was the reason why you was going through that. And so over the 2 years, I'm just going to give a small short testimony, but even over the 2 years, the things that the Lord has led me on. And of course, I've shared my testimony numerous of times of how the Lord transitioned me from one state to the next. But, the Lord, over the years, the Lord has always placed me in situations of what you call 911 situations of what to do if this happened. And so there's been some times where the Lord would place me in certain situations where I didn't have any money, and it wasn't that it didn't have anything to do with lack. He was showing me what to do with a certain amount of money at a certain time, a certain amount of money at a certain time, what to do with what I had. And so it's like now in where God is leading some of us in this hour, we're going to have to learn how to use what we have at that particular moment. When we get into a 911 situation, we have to immediately know what to do. We have to immediately have the wisdom to be able to tell someone, hey, this is what you do in this particular situation. This is how you react in this particular situation. There's certain situations that we encounter that really would take a mental, would have to take mentality. Your mentality going to have to really shift to be able to tell people, to show people exactly what they need to do in certain situations. And there are certain things that people are not going to be able to handle. They're not going to be able to go into different places and handle I want to say homelessness. There's some people that never been homeless, so they wouldn't know what to do if they lost their home. And so we have to be in a position. I believe that the Lord is bringing us into a position where when people, I truly believe also that, even when the Lord began to launch us over into different countries, we will know how to respond, before we get there, because the Lord would take us down that path of, of, of not, of being able to, like I said, of being able to endure certain situations before we get there, even though we may not know the full capacity of what it would take when we get there. But at the same time, at least the Lord have already shown us how to live before we get there. And so I just wanted to come on just to be able to share that those moments of preparation is very vital. It's very key. Those that God is bringing alongside with us in this hour, we have to be able to train and develop them in the way that they are supposed to be trained and developed. Don't worry about the training, disciplining them in a way that we've seen in time past. I believe what God has given us as leaders in this hour, I believe what God has truly given us is for those that's going to be coming, that's going to be heading in our direction, and we'll be able to train them according to where they're being sent, according to what God has placed in our heart. There's times when we're not going to be the ones to go to other countries, but we have to launch a team to go over. And in order for us to launch the team to be able to go over, that means that we're going to have to prepare them. And I believe that there's going to be a continuous launching, of sending, of ascending. I believe that there's going to be, we're going to be in that place now where God is bringing leaders and leaders together to be able to train up and raise up teams to be able to go to different countries and everything. And so we have to be ready in this hour, and making sure that people are, not only are they prepared mentally, but being able to make sure that they're prepared physically. There are times that I've traveled in time past in the States, and I've may have went from one state to the next. And there were times where I said, okay, Lord, why am I tired when I get back? And the Lord will reveal to me, vitamins that I should start taking, certain foods that I should start eating, certain foods that I need to stop eating. He would even direct me on exercising more. So now I do a lot of walking. I eat a lot of salads. More now, I get more rest. I take more care of my physical body. Now, of course, every now and then I do get a burger. I do love my steak. And so, but at the same time, I balance it all out. I don't eat a lot of fried foods on a regular, like I used to just love fried chicken all the time. But now I truly have a balance in what I eat now. And so we have to not only just um, being aware mentally, but we have to also, like I said, take care of our physical bodies. Ask the Holy Spirit, what do you need to eat? What do you need to back away from? Even times we can be a little overweight. I remember, because my height is 5'9". I am 5'9". But there were times when I was like 109. I was 209 pounds solid. But at the same time, I started to have back pains. I started to have, swelling of the feet. There were certain things I was eating that caused my body to gain a lot of water. And so I had a lot of swelling in my feet. A lot of times certain things I was eating caused swelling. And so we have to really pay attention to our physical body and back off certain things of how the Lord is truly going to move us in this season. And of course we know spiritually we have to be spiritually alert in a lot of areas. Even today, I had a gentleman. He's actually a security guard, and I'm really mindful of my surroundings. But I'm also careful. I'm very careful and very wise. I had a security guard earlier today, and he was just like, he's I do make sure I do pay attention to all of my surroundings. So be sure that you pay attention to all of your surroundings in this hour. Make sure that you use wisdom. There is a difference between using wisdom and walking in fear. So make sure that you also guard against fear. Because we do walk by faith. We do use wisdom. And just be mindful of your surroundings, because the Lord He's really training us. Take every moment as a training. Take every moment as a training. And if need be, write down whatever the Lord is revealing to you in this season, whether it's spiritually, mentally, physically, in every aspect. Make sure we write it down. Make sure we take note of it, journal it, because best believe you're going to end up needing it in days ahead. And not only are you going to need it, but you're also going to be able to give it to those that God is bringing down in your path to train up and to develop. And so just be mindful of those things as well. Here in California, the other thing that I've noticed since I've been here has been homelessness. And really we have a lot of mental illness here. And being that we have a lot of mental illness here, I've learned how to really stay alert. How to stay alert. And so, like I said, just be mindful. I just wanted to come on and just share with you all on just being prepared and preparing those that the Lord is sending, and be sure that they're prepared properly, even intentionally. Put them in situations that will cause them to think. to think quick, a 911 situations. What would you do in this particular situation? So even create those kind of atmospheres, to those that you're training and developing. Set up those certain things and take them out to, outside of the four walls every now and then. Take them out, let them get out sometime, let them see what's in the community, let them be aware of what's going on in the community. A lot of times what end up happening is that we as leaders, we keep them in the four walls, and they don't see what truly goes on the outside, because we always on within the four walls. And of course we know things go on in our community, but for the most part, as far as being out there and seeing truly what's in our community, we really don't do that a lot of times. And so now the Lord has really been taking me down that path as a leader, of knowing what's going on in my community, knowing how to be alert, how to pay attention, being in different situations, how to handle difficult situations, how to move in and out of, how to be able to travel light. I learned how to travel light. I don't carry a lot of things with me. I pack, but when I go places, I pack very, very, very light. And so the Lord has also taught me how to do that. And I know we may have some even on here that may be military. So if you're military, you know exactly what I'm talking about traveling light. Because you've been in that road, and also you've been in that path of what to do in 911 situations. And so like I said, just wanted to come on, and I do training, and in the days ahead I will be doing more training in this particular area, because the Lord is leading me into this vein of going overseas. And so I will be doing a lot of developing, a lot of training in this particular area in the days ahead. And so I just want to come on and share with you guys. Thank you so much for coming on and listening, and hopefully you will have a blessed day. Once again, my name is Apostle Jonelle Maxwell of New Day Apostolic Global Network, and I am looking forward to seeing what the Lord has in store for you in this season. Love you, and God bless.